Yeah, it turn me up. Alright, sounds much better. Alright, let's do this, man. I heard a preacher saying, wish on another like you wish for yourself. That's why I wish for me to prosper and be in good health. But when you wish that a brother won't rise to the best,
Udin,
potentially I
fantastic
see another
record
hater
off
fool
the
me
brand
to
new
death.
album, All in Good Times. Right before that, we had something from Rakim and Detroit Royd, captured the moment. Another fantastic rap single. So remember earlier, guys, I did tell you that I was going to be having the great you did live with me, live right here on the KU Nights Live show, right here on the station that turns an excitement, KU 92.7 FM. He's a very, difficult man to get, but I finally did, get him, the man behind the song Class in Session and all that wonderful records that you've been hearing off the brand new album. Great man, fantastic guy, I must say. One of the most talented lyricist straight out of B City, straight out of Nigeria. I have the pleasure of introducing to you the great Udin. Good evening, boss.
Evening. Thank you so much. That's very humbling. Yeah, yeah. It sounds different when I'm called great. Even though
Yeah.
I say it, but it's always humbling to hear that. Thank you so much. Thanks for the support, man.
All right, good to have you here. First of all, how you doing? Like how's life? How is everything? How is everything in total?
Overall, I can't complain. We're getting by. It's good. It's good. Thank God. Thank God it's good. Most importantly, we have God to thank for that. You know,
Yeah.
um, globally, back home, there's always something to bother and worry about, but ultimately a lot more to be grateful for. So counting my blessings, if you understand what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And I must say, congratulations on the brand new album, All in
Thank
Good
you.
Time. We're
Thank you.
definitely, going
Thank
to
you.
talk about the album in a minute. But first things first, let's start from the beginning. For a lot of people who might be hearing about you for the first time, hear about your music for the first time, who is Judin?
I'm just a regular guy, you know, um, with a message, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
Um, I've got opinions, I've got thoughts, just like every other person. It's music is a way of expression for me. Things I don't say, things I don't get to do. My experiences, my frustrations, my pain, my joy. Yeah, so that pretty much sums up, that aspect of me from a musical angle. Udine, the person,
yeah,
um, I'm a family man, God's son, um, a Christian, and I'm also um, I've got a 9 to 5. I'm a professional, you know. So,
yeah.
if I'm not doing music, um, I'm working. I'm a consultant, So yeah, that pretty much sums up the person: a family man, uh, a worker, a diligent worker. I like to say, and you know, a child of God.
I mean, that's good. I respect that. And you just
Thank you.
mentioned that you have a 9 to 5 and music. And I believe one of the most difficult thing out there has to be trying to, juggle between music
Oh
and your
yes.
personal life. So how is the process like? How do you do it? Making music and doing your 9 to 5.
I think the fact that this album is coming out now is, pretty much indicative of how difficult it is. I've been working on this for over a year, right?
Yeah.
Been finding time to record, finding time to work with my team, to strategize on getting this out, finding time to sit down and even listen and plan this out, So yeah, it is hard, it is difficult, and you know um, it's music is hard by itself as a full time job, full time work, as a calling. Then you have to handle work and handle your passion, which music is for me. yeah, it's difficult, but yeah, I think overall the word, like I said, passion, and that's the drive
Yeah,
that pushes me to want to do this. So yeah, it's a labor of love, and I think the satisfaction is having that album out, having that record out, and getting the sort of
yeah.
feedbacks I've been getting from people globally, and it's satisfying knowing that it's worth it at the end. Yeah. But back to your question, yes, it is difficult managing music and having a day job.
Yeah. But then you just said it all, the passion is what keeps you going. Regardless of
Yes, it
how
is.
difficult it might be, just the passion and the love for whatever it is you're doing gets you going all the time. And I respect that, about you and how you chose to go with your craft. I must say, you're a rapper that I respect a lot because of how you keep it
Thank you.
authentic. So do you mind sharing with us some of the, music influence that you have, guys who influenced you to start rapping and make music the way you make music?
I say this every time. For a lot of artists, it doesn't matter what the medium is, whether if you're a painter, you're a poet, we find our
Yeah.
voices through the people we look up to. So early days, like you could catch me sounding like Mob Deep, sounding like Nas, and all
Yeah.
these other rappers when I was growing up. But eventually, you find your own voice, you find your own, your own style, you find your own, you become your own person. So yeah, so that's pretty much how I evolved. My influences would be, rappers from the '90s, essentially. All right, from I would say Black Thought to
Okay.
Nas. That's outside, but in Nigeria,
Yeah.
I think tribesmen were a huge influence.
Mm.
Um, thoroughbreds were also a very huge influence. In fact, I rolled with them at some point. I I I knew all of them. I had one of the members, excuse me, one of the members of
Oh,
the group, Elijah, was in my neighborhood. Before they got big. I knew him then. We used to freestyle, and he liked he encouraged me. I was like, man, dude, you got bars. You should keep on writing. So he introduced me. Actually, he introduced me to a bunch of East Coast rappers that I wasn't listening to
okay.
really. Yeah, I
Yeah.
was like, man, check this CD out, check this out. You listen, you study. Like I would say, I'm a student of the game up till now.
Yeah.
I might consider myself a teacher or a professor somewhat
Yeah.
because I've learned a lot, but nonetheless, I still consider myself a student of the game. So yeah, I studied, and that heavily influenced my music.
I mean, that's beautiful, man. A lot of influence. A lot of influence. That's beautiful. And speaking of groups, I know that you're not a new cat in the game. You've been around for a minute, a long time now. And I
No,
think within '03,
yeah,
'06, you were part of the Supreme Cartel yourself.
oh
And do
yes,
know you guys even
yes,
had a lead
yes, yes,
project
yes.
that time, the Chronicles, the
Oh my,
E-Track, what you need, like that merger, like how did it come about? You and Duno, like it's out of this world, it's mind blowing, but give us a little black backstory about that, merger between you and Duno.
look, man, if I had to write a book
Mm,
on the Supreme Cartel, my relationship with my guys from Duno to Bigfoot, to Chuck D,
yeah,
Michael Demi, um, Dramine, Olise Exvo. Damn, we're collective. I was like the best years for me when I was in Uniben. In fact, yeah, I went to Uniben. I graduated from
okay,
Uniben. So I think that was like a very, 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 very good thing for me. I kept me sane. That kept me grounded, being part of that group. So I started the group with myself, Bigfoot, and um, actually myself and Bigfoot had the vision for it. Then we met Tops, DJ T Money,
okay,
um,
okay,
DJ T Money, and he had a studio big was the Brains. Was an upcoming producer. He's super big now. But I remember those humble days. And it was wonderful. It was great. So later on, we had people, other guys joined the group. They believed in the vision. Duno, Diara, Jamal, Michael Demi. It was a real heavy group. So yeah, I think music was really really fun then. So actually this record was a way to rediscover that level of, but it's not the same, but close enough anyways. But music was really really fun. We had songs for months, and we lost quite a lot of our recordings, a lot of the songs we did, unfortunately. And yeah, we dropped a couple of singles. We had a whole project that didn't drop officially, but they're out there. You can find them if you want to.
Now moving on from the Supreme Cartel, you were emerging with this brand new project, All in Good Time, which I think personally is a wonderful project. I mean, every single on the album feels like a story, with each song, feeling like a scene in a movie. And at the end of the day, when you listen to the whole thing, it all makes sense with the final track. So can you tell us about this project? What does All in Good Time mean for you?
Well, All in Good Time, to me, it's self-explanatory. The title itself, All in Good Time. I've been trying to get this out. I've been trying to, see if I could get back in the game, to record, to write. It's been difficult. It's been difficult. I've been trying to do this for years.
Yeah,
I must admit. Yeah, I've been trying to. Excuse me. Not that. Yeah, it's been super. I've been super preoccupied. Between my job, my marriage, my 2 kids, and life generally. Yeah, it was really hard to find a time, but I'm grateful. I had a period when I was like, what? I think I have this quarter, this 3 months that I can actually sit down and plan a record. So I didn't do that by myself. I had a wonderful team. I had producers. I had people who were, also keen on seeing me work. Tony Akami, he's the project manager, ensuring we're on time. XO, one of the producers, I had many sessions with him discussing my vision for the record. He did, 60% of the instrumentals. Then of course other collaborators like Techzilla, who we work together. He also I got an idea about my vision for the record, Bigfoot. So I had time to kind of, speak to everyone and say, look, I'm finally doing this, and I'm trying to make it worth the time. So I'm going to tell a story from when I left, right? So I could just start, with a song that describes me today. But I think the hiatus was too long, so I had to reintroduce myself. And not just introduce myself, but also talk about me, my growth, my journey, and where I'm at as a person, and musically as well. Like I said, one of the first things I did, I shut out, new music. I know we have a lot of great new music out there, but sonically, I wanted to be in a different space and not be, impacted by what's hot or trending these days, right? Just wanted to keep it me. But yeah, that's what it is. Showing where I'm at mentally is family. And of course, this music is beautiful, and it's a medium to really really show, my journey and where I'm at right presently, and where I intend to, to go. So expect more music, right? It's just the beginning. You can call the record my first steps of rediscovering my voice and rediscovering, myself musically, and I think that's what the project is about. It's a journey of discovery and rediscovery, and
Yeah.
you know,
I must say I respect the way you really put your heart into this project. It's not just the songs itself, the sequencing. It all felt like coherent. I mean, starting with Unfinished Business, and then Save Johnny interlude, and then we have All in Good Time, and then
yeah,
this feeds what we do know down to the entire thing. The sequencing is perfect, and I think that is something that music generally, albums, lacks these days. It doesn't really tell a story. It's like just a combination of different, singles that don't relate. But I respect the fact that every single song on this project, related. And like I said, it's like a movie. Each song is a scene, and at the end of the entire album, you're able to understand, oh, this is what the movie is all about. And personally, for me, one track that stood out for me, I would say it's one of my personal favorite from the album is Class in Session. Like I told you, the first time I heard that
yeah.
song, I was blown away. I want to know what was going through your mind when you made that song, and what's the creative process like, making Class in Session.
I must admit, Class in Session was a song that we probably wouldn't have done, right?
Okay.
I think circumstances, that as we say, when life gives you, uh, lemons, you make, lemon juice, as they say,
Yeah.
right? So, we had a version that was done. I kind of recorded it, and unfortunately, my friend, the producer, wasn't available. So I was like, you know what? I wanted to actually do a song with Texilla. Let me reach out to him. So I
Okay.
sent him my vocals. I sent him my vocals. He did the instrumental, and he sent that
Yeah.
to me. I was like, wow, this is dope. I like, you know what? I'm going to re-record this song, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to record this song. So I recorded it. So it was pretty much energy, right? So I'm all about energy. If I hear a very dope instrumental, it
Yeah.
inspires me, it pushes me to, not to, and most importantly, not to spoil it, to make the best
Yeah.
of it, right? So yeah, so it wasn't like from the beginning we had that as, oh, it's going to be a must, but
Yeah.
that's music for you, that's art for you. You never
True.
know, how it's going to turn out. You just, like, this is going to be good at, worst case scenario, but not,
Yeah.
you won't expect it to be great like that. You won't, won't over expect. Just, go with it. So yeah. So I think for the process for me, it's just like I wrote it like I'll write any other of my raps, you know. And the way I
Yeah.
write my raps most times is, I hear instrumental I like, right? Even if it's not the instrumental I record with eventually, but I like an instrumental, or I get a concept I can't get out of my head, right?
Yeah.
And I'm really, really triggered. There are some songs I can write, can finish within 15, 20 minutes, and there are some songs I can take like a week, right? It all depends on, on how I'm feeling at that
Yeah.
point. So you don't force it. As creatives, you don't. The songs that you force, you kind of know that it's forced, but
Yeah.
usually I'd rather just be inspired. So I think that was what happened with Class in Session. Wrote it like it was like a regular Tuesday, but once I heard the instrumental, I was like, man, dude, I need to record this. So I went back, cleaned up the raps, and
Yeah.
yeah, that was
Okay.
nothing special, right?
But then the song is, I would say, is one of the best out there. I must
Yeah,
say,
thanks,
it's
man.
an amazing
Thanks.
song.
Yeah, I appreciate
Another
that.
song, yeah, another song that also, I really loved was the song with Sosa Uruguay. I mean, you brought it home, while
Mm.
still maintaining your originality. And
Oh
for
yeah,
me, from my point of view, I feel like Osa Uruguay sounded like something very personal, introspective, like there's something that you were trying to tell us. I mean, you had, lines like, I'm trying to be the man they all salute, that foolish pride. As a young recruit, I was seduced to the other side. I can't deny I couldn't shake the influence. You go on and on and on. Like, what were you trying? I feel like you were trying to say something. Can you throw more light on that? Is it like a personal experience of yourself growing up?
Oh, sure. I mean, on different levels, growing up as as a young man, as a teenager or
Yeah,
a young adult, we're all exposed to peer pressure. We're all exposed to,
yeah,
you know, um, keeping up with the Joneses, trying to, be like the cool kid, right?
yeah,
So I would say like, at some point in my life, I'll say I made some poor decisions. We all do, right? Whether sooner or later, or maybe in the past or in the future,
yeah,
we're all susceptible, right? And peer pressure is a thing, especially for young people. And I was pretty much trying to talk to my younger self,
yeah,
right? But also acknowledging the difficulties um, of being in an environment that encourages or makes it difficult for you to, So hopefully, the idea is to, you know, touch someone else who may be experiencing what I experienced years
yeah,
ago as a young man. Letting them know that, look, man, so a lot of these things won't even matter in the next 5, 10 years, right?
yeah,
They're going to be, I'll say, um, unimportant. They won't matter.
yeah,
So yeah, it sounds almost corny, from an OG, telling
yeah,
people that, man, look, you get your life straight, make better decisions, focus on the right things, and most importantly, lean on Christ, right? So yeah, so pretty much, yeah, it was definitely from my personal experience as a growing up.
yeah. And then on the track, New Beginning, also one of my personal favorite. I believe you were saying a lot of things. You mentioned losing your sister in
Oh yeah,
2010. That must have been a really terrible time, losing
oh
someone
yeah,
so close to you at that time.
yeah, yeah. It was a horrid time in my life. At that point, I was broken, and I quit music around then. I stopped doing music. I was like, I'm going to just focus on my career.
Yeah,
Let me get my degree. Let me finish this up, and yeah, it was a difficult period. Things like that, change you.
yeah,
Loss changes us. We never get over it. We just learn to live with it, and
yeah,
you know, if that's the way to describe it.
yeah.
So yeah, it was. Wow. Yeah. You caught that. That was a real defining moment in my life as a person, as an
Yeah.
artist. Yeah.
I can relate. It's never a good thing to lose someone so close to you, someone so important in your life. I'm really sorry about for your loss. So moving on from that, the project All in Good Time, beautiful project. Like I always say, one of my favorite rap projects out there right now.
Mm,
Do you have a
mm.
personal favorite from that album? One song that you say, "Oh man, this song is it."
I think it's new beginnings.
Okay.
It is new beginnings because you know it's between new beginnings and deferred dreams. But I'll lean to
Okay.
new beginnings because it was very, very personal, extremely personal, right? And music, and to me, writing is therapy. It's
Yeah.
therapeutic. When I'm writing, I'm on unburdening myself. I am, I'm. It's like I'm talking to a therapist, and I'm rationalizing and making sense. So not just writing the raps. When I'm writing, it's a thought process, thinking
Okay.
about what I am thinking about my experience, my feeling. How did I feel? What did that make me feel? So I relive those moments. You know, um, Funny enough, that song "New Beginnings," I started it. Um, it wasn't like a song I wrote last year. I started it maybe like two years ago, but I couldn't
Okay.
I couldn't yeah I couldn't get through it. I couldn't get past like 4 or 5 bars or thereabouts, I broke down like, you know what, I can't do this. Right, I can't do this, not now. So I just left it. Right,
Yeah.
it was a song it was actually one of the first songs that was like almost ready in my head. I just had to put it down. So yeah, I would say New Beginnings. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, if I should say my personal favorite, I think you already know them. Class in Session with
Yeah.
Aragui.
I
One
love the
with
Sarah I
extra.
like. Yeah, I
Yeah.
love those
Extra.
tracks. I love those tracks. Yeah. Yeah.
I thought that collaboration was out of this world, like mind blowing, mind blowing, and beautiful
Thanks, man.
lineup. And also having Duno on the album as well.
Yeah.
This amazing guy. Duno, one of the hottest lyricists, just like yourself, out of B City. Making us proud with the music and all. I mean, great collaborations on here. And I also understand that you also, for the producers, you worked with, is it David Rotimi?
Oh yes,
Some,
he mixed
yeah,
and mastered all the tracks. He was sonically, we worked together on trying to make, the record sound. He had to struggle through a bit because my equipments were failing, my mic, and I think my system. He told me, look, man, you need to change those stuffs if you're going to do your next project. I'm working on
yeah.
that. I'm working on that. So
Okay.
yeah, he really did a yeoman's job ensuring that it came out well, even though some of the vocals were some struggle, but yeah, at the end of the day, he did well. He did great. Yeah, that's my guy. And
Mm,
yeah, Duno, you mentioned Duno. Duno is my one of my day ones, right? We started out as in the crew together. I knew him from when he was part of the backbenchers. That was a crew. They were kind of like even a rival crew to us. I won't
okay.
say, when I say rival, I mean it in a very very sporty way. Shout out to the backbenchers. You guys will forever be great, forever be amazing. So Juno is my
Mm,
guy. He's doing great. I'm super proud of him.
yeah.
um he's really really done well for himself, the past couple of years. Records he's been releasing, he's part of the reasons why I was like, you know what, I think I'm going to work on an album. I'm going to work on a project. Yeah. Yeah, shout out to Duno.
Charles Duno. And then you mentioned rivals, and it just made me remember, the beef culture, in hip hop. I
Oh
want to know
man,
what's your take on it, the beef and the violence and all that stuff.
it definitely, violence is just, I just think it's foolish. I think it's just, it's utterly foolish. I get it. We can be rivals lyrically. Hip hop is a competitive, you know, genre, right? So I mean, you come out and you say like, man, I'm the best rapper alive, and
Yeah,
I'm allowed to say that. And when somebody else challenges me, I was like, man, no, man, I am the best rapper alive. I don't have to punch him in his face or catch him somewhere and start. No, I'll take my beef, and I won't call it beef, but I'll take it to the mic in, and I'll
yeah,
and I'll prove that I'm actually better. And
yeah,
it's a sport, right? Don't So when things get very personal, when people start beef and they take it from the studio to the streets, I think
yeah,
it's killing the culture itself, right? I mean, we watch battle raps, right? And it's not, before you find another battle rapper punching another battle rapper, it's hard, right?
sure,
It happens, but rarely does it happen. And when it happens, everybody's like, man, that's messed up, right? That's embarrassing, because you use your words, not your fists, right?
sure,
And that's what hip hop is about. So I don't condone, I don't support violence in hip hop. I don't condone violence generally, but
yeah,
especially particularly as we're talking about hip hop, talking about rap. I think it's whack. Yeah, it's really really whack. So I mean, if you got bars, put it on the mic. Let's see, what you got, and it's allowed. We all can be great. Okay, we all can be great. We all can have our own claim to greatness. And that's fine. Okay, that's fine.
I mean, I agree with that. I mean, if there must be competition, it should be healthy.
Oh, definitely.
Fight with the words, with the lyrics, and not your hands, not violence. I totally agree with that. So yes, you're an artist, independent artist. I believe you're independent, right? Are
Oh
the
yeah.
struggles, are the challenges that you maybe face as an independent artist trying to grind on your own? You're like your
I
own
think.
labor executive, you're
Oh
everything.
yes.
What are the challenges that you face?
I think the biggest challenge, and I kind of feel sorry, and I think of myself when when I was much younger, and I was hungry, for um, because hip hop was a way to really express myself, and
Yeah.
there was hunger, there was real hunger, there was struggles, financially. It's difficult supporting yourself, being your own boss.
Mm.
Getting, because you have, no matter what, even though it's, I would say, I've gotten a heavy support from a lot of my collaborators and friends, but you still spend money. You spend money. You know, uh, George Benz, he's worked on a number of the visuals. Those cost money, right? I
Yeah.
have Typhoon Studios who worked on a number of the visuals as well. That cost money, right? And uh, getting, my project manager to ensure that, the song gets to the right people,
Yeah.
speaking to people, setting up. We're not doing a great job, and that's because I'm hardly available. He's been trying to set me up for one meeting or the other, or one. I've not been available, right? So I'm happy I'm doing this, because this was a very very short window, that
Yeah.
I'm glad I was able to fulfill. Hopefully
Yeah.
I'll be able to do more in the coming months.
And I think that is where, the passion that you mentioned, that is where it comes in. The passion and the love for what you do keeps you going, regardless of the fact that you might not be getting, as much as you would expect, but then, passion keeps you going. That's the beauty about passion, you
Oh
know.
yeah.
And then, yes, the album Only Good Time is out right now,
Yeah.
doing its best right now. What is next for you, Dean, after this project? Is there like a volume two or a new project we
Well,
should expect?
I think the project is still on. We're expecting the visuals for Osara Gray. So
Okay.
it's going to be a music video, and there's going to be a short movie. So
Yeah.
watch out for that. It's
Mm.
shout out to George Benz. He's making it happen. He did great on class in session.
Yeah.
He has outdone himself, and I'm expecting he's going to do it again. He's a super talented director. Yeah, that's going to happen in the next couple of weeks. And I think after that, um, we have a couple of remixes for some of the
Oh,
songs. I know there's
okay.
one already, right? I won't let the cat out of the bag, but I'm
Okay.
sure we're going to love it when it comes out,
Okay.
and we're working on that. Then, um, I think later on, I'm going to drop a collective, couple of songs, right,
Okay.
towards the end of the year. It's not going to be an album format like an EP, just a couple of songs,
Okay.
right? I'm
Okay.
trying to experiment.
So basically, we might be getting a Udin, rapping on an piano type beat, an Afrobeat type beat. Is
Look,
that what you're
man.
trying to do right now?
Look, look, man. I can do it. I just need that. I think I've gotten to that point, to that place where I was trying to, like I said, I was trying to rediscover my voice, rediscover myself
Yeah.
lyrically, musically. I think I'm very very close. You know, um, I can't be the same person I was years back.
Sure.
I just have to be better. So yeah, so I'm
Sure.
close to where I want to be at, where I want to be, and I think the music would tell the story. Yeah, looking forward to that.
Mm. Sure. Looking forward to that. Looking forward to that. So, is there any, big, collaboration to expect, home and abroad, international collaborations with some of the top dogs?
Look, man, I don't want to jinx it, but
Yep.
I think my I've been in the industry for quite a while. Now,
Yeah.
I've been writing and rapping since 1999. First show I went to, was in 1999 that I performed at. Right, it was the first show ever I did music at, and after then, over the years I've accumulated. I would say, um, I know folks, I've met folks, I know people, you know,
Yeah.
you know, guys that I admire, I respect, guys who also admire and respect my craft. People who I know I can get on songs, you know,
Yeah.
but it's different. It feels weird, you know, talking to someone. I don't do this. Like I feel like I'm just a fan now, doing
Yeah.
this music thing. So telling my friend who does this for a living, who does this for real, who 24/7 is a music artist. This is his grind and his hustle.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel like it feels like a letdown. Yeah, fingers crossed. Some of your big
Okay.
stars, some of the guys I respect in the industry, I definitely want to work with them. I mean, from people like let me not jinx it. No names,
All
right?
right. All
No
right. No
names.
problem.
No names.
We're
No
definitely
names.
looking for big collaborations with these people. It would
Yeah.
be nice to see you, do this. We're looking forward to it, and we will hold you to it. We will
Oh,
hold you
please
to
do.
this.
Please
It will
do.
be nice.
Thank you.
Yeah, it will be nice.
Thanks, man.
And just as we wrap this up, final take, final word to the people, encouragement, anything that you want to say to the people. How can they, check you out? Where can they find music, your
Oh wow.
pages, Instagram, that stuff?
All right. So I'm on all platforms. Well, not all. Well, I'm on Twitter. I'm on TikTok, on Instagram, and on Threads. So it's Udin double XL. Just look at me
Okay.
at Udin double XL on all platforms. Right? Catch
Yeah.
me, you feel me? But word for the wise. It's we're living in very very we're living in a very unique time in history,
Yeah.
as in the world and back home. You know,
Yeah.
um, I would say, man, keep your head up, man. This too shall pass, right?
Mm.
All this would pass eventually. I think of the difficulties of the journey. Appreciate your journey, whatever journey you're on right now in life. Appreciate it. Look
Yeah.
forward to the future. All right. Where you are at does not define, where you're going. Things might be looking, you know, somewhat right now. Maybe you're not where you want to be in life. I would say trust God. I would say focus on your dreams. Yes, focus on your dreams, and keep pushing. Okay, and not to sound like a defeatist. Sometimes our dreams, may not align with God's plan for us. So find that out as well, right? Your dreams are valid. Your dreams are yours, right? But there's nothing greater or more beautiful than being aligned with the universe, being aligned with God's plan for your life. So you find that, man, I can assure you, you will be the happiest person on this earth. You'll be the happiest person. You'll be the happiest version of yourself. Yeah, that's I guess that's my word. Hopefully that
Man,
inspires someone.
yeah. Respect. Appreciate you for the words, man. I'm pretty
Thanks,
sure
man.
there's a lot of people out there who need
Man, thank you
to
very
hear.
much for your support. Thanks, Collins. Thanks. Thank
Yeah,
you.
and
Benin City,
thank you so much,
thank you.
for the project, all in good time. Like I said, it's an
It
amazing
was my pleasure.
project, and I hope the project, go farther than where it is right now. And I just
Amen
want
to
to tell
that.
you, encourage you, keep doing what you're doing. We appreciate you here, and we appreciate the conscious rap, the authentic rap that you make, and we'd love to see you fly higher than where you are right now.
Amen to that, brother. Amen.
Thank you so much for your time. I'm looking
All right,
forward to
thanks.
doing this another time. Hopefully,
All right,
by the
great.
grace
That'll
of
be
God, we'll
amazing.
be at a higher level, and it will be nice to do this again. Great conversation on here. Thank you so much one more time, you Dean, for your time. And folks, we've been speaking with the great lyricist straight out of BCT, Udin, right here live on the KU9's live show on KU92.7 FM. As he, talks to us about his music, personal life, and, career, basically all the good stuff. Coming up right now is music. One of the tracks off the album All in Good Time features the Lady Sosa. This one is Osaro Boy. Right after this,
Shout
hear
out
the
to
songs.
Sosa. That's my queen right there.
Shout out to Sosa. Kickstart the Hook Up Show. Keep it up right here. It's KU92.7 FM. I'll be right back.
I don't know. I'm just glad about the person I became at the end of it. Yo, what you know about the third dreams? A lost hope, yeah, it might seem. Do you believe in second chances?